Just seeing if anyone shows up. Not a good day or time. Just in case. Can I hit it? Damn it. There we go. How you doing, whoever you are? Noah Road here, just having a beer, and I just thought I would do a little show and tell about my camping gear. See if you, oh hey, would you like? Hey Jim, how you doing, man? Back shots from Diddy? Nah, I don't know what that is. How you doing, my friend? Can you hear me okay? How you doing? Can everybody hear me okay? Hello? I hope you can hear me. Hi, hi. Great, I'm glad. I'm doing pretty good myself. I am having a beer, and that's not always the best thing to do, right? But, oh, great. Thank you, Jim. I'm glad you can hear me. I know my phone is not the greatest. I need to get a new one. But I'm not going to do that for a while, so this is what I got. Sounds like a video projector, something like that. That's what I notice whenever I go live. Hmm. I had an idea to stay in 1997. In 1997? Hmm. Don't know that one. Um, but I thought I would, let me see, show off some of my camping gear. You know, some of this is just video diary for me. It's going to be obviously probably boring for most people. And I was really bored and I didn't really feel like doing anything. That's why I got a beer and I set up my tent, my camping gear, just so I can maybe show it off a little bit. Since I'm almost on my way to doing the stealth camping thing. So here is a tent that I got from the Goodwill. It's a Winnie the Pooh tent, and that's a little corny, but good grief, this thing is like really great for stealth camping. It's small, it's compact, it's extremely light, and look at the color. I mean, there's a little yellow in there, but it really blends in great. And here's what the inside looks like. I like the zippers because you got two styles of doors. One, you got a D-shaped style of zipper, and I don't like those. And then you got this, the upside down horseshoe, and these work really great because as you can see, this little deal here, it repels the rain pretty good as long as you sprayed it. Yeah, you got to spray all your tents with the tent spray. But D style of door, there's always an area down here that it's not very good, and it always lets in water. So this is not too good as far as it's not really quite long enough for me. I wish it was a little bigger, but it's it's enough, barely. But it only weighs about 3 pounds, and it's really small. Look at that. It's got like I got it at Goodwill, and I got two tents identical for $5. And that's pretty darn cool, isn't it? Gardener wraps. What's that mean? Hmm. I don't know what that is. Gardener wraps. Oh yeah. Huh. Oh. So what else do I got? So I got this tent from Goodwill, and I got two of them, exactly the same. So I got one of them in my storage unit, and then I got this one that I carry on. Look at this. Look at this beautiful backpack. And I got enough room down below here to where I can carry the tent rolled up, and then below the tent, I got the bedroll that I can carry. See this bedroll? That's my summer bag. Now here is my blanket that I roll up in the bedroll. And notice it's gray. Why do I like gray? Oh, I know the backpack rocks. I got that for $5, $5.99 in the Clearfield um, Goodwill. And I always carry a sleeping bag, yes, but then I always have an extra blanket in the sleeping bag, and I always try to have it like gray. And the reason is because I spend a lot of time under bridges, and under bridges you'll notice that they have a lot of rocks. So I'll go under a bridge and I'll make a nice nest. Yes, it blends into the rocks underneath the bridge. And it also blends, gray is a good color for the woods because, especially out east, there's a lot of gray bark. And it also blends in with the winter seasons, so that's really cool. What else? But yeah, look at this. Um, this here, it's got this really cool that. And then it has, it's got, that's the, below. And then here is an outer sort of zipper. It's really strong material. It's almost like really tough, resilient, um, gosh, what is that called? Canvas, almost like canvas. Very tough. Yeah, gray bark. A lot of gray bark out here in Pennsylvania. And I'll tell you, you know my favorite thing that I've gotten recently? All right, here we go. This is the thing that shows me the universe is on my side. It gives you gifts when it's time to move on. Now check this out. This is my prized possession now. I got this last week at the Goodwill in Clearfield when my friend drove me out there. So I'm going to show you what I got. Look at this. Whoa. Whoops. Look at that. Whoa. This is, look at the size. That's my favorite thing that I got. That's a long trench coat. Real long trench coat. Goes all the way down to my ankles. And it's uh, 4X in size. So it's huge. And I can wear it over, yeah, and I can wear it over other jackets because it's 4X. 4X. So I could have a winter jacket on and then I could put that on and it's like sitting in the woods with a sleeping bag and a hood with that, it's fake fur, it's not real, but it's really warm and nice. It's like wearing a sleeping bag. So that's totally cool. Let me see, what else do I have? Here is, you want to see a real cheap, inexpensive stove for dummies, as they say so and so for such and such for dummies, those books. Well, here is a stove that is a very quick carry stove. It's not clean, not safe, but it'll do in a pinch. Hey, how you doing? I'm not sure who you are, but everybody, God bless you all, thank you and everything. And check this stove out that I got. Now, you got this, right? Carry that around your backpack. Now, you put a flammable fluid like Coleman fuel, this, and then you light it, and then it produces a flame. You set this on top, voila, instant stove, and it's light. It's not clean, really isn't, and it produces a lot of soot on the bottom of these little pans, but it'll work in a pinch. So that's something to remember. Hobo rocket stove, yeah. There's real clever ways of making stoves, but I'm not that clever. So that's a way to make something that you could heat water or heat something like oatmeal or something. And you don't have to build a fire and you don't have to give your location away because of all of the smoke and everything that comes from a fire. Yeah. So what else do I got here? You like knives? Now, I think knives are kind of gruesome and a little scary, but I've always had a thing for them. I've always enjoyed them, collecting them. Here's a knife that I think anybody who's a knife lover will really like. Check this out. Do you ever hear of case knives? Now, case knives are made here in Pennsylvania in a town called Bradford. And I think back in 2010, I got this for myself, a case knife made in Bradford, Pennsylvania, as a birthday gift to me. And I've had it in my storage unit ever since, and I almost never use it. I just keep it one of these days. Anyways, here it is. Made in the USA. Look at that. Yep. That's made right here in this great state of Pennsylvania. And I've only used it a couple of times. And you can shave with this. I ain't kidding you. This thing is seriously sharp. You want to see? Let me see. I don't have too much hair. Let me try to think. Right here. Wow, look at that. I don't know if you can see it. It shaves. I've only used it a couple of times. Beautiful, huh? That's one of the most prettiest knives I've ever seen. That was about 90 bucks. Back in 2010. What else? Look at this. You got to have yourself a little emergency kit, especially out east. Out east, you got ticks and bugs and things. You got to carry a mirror, which I always Whatever. Anyway, here's a really good pair of scissors, really strong. I know that knife is amazing. And look at this. Here is a Gerber, and it's got that little switch thing here. So where you can do that. And then, now watch this. This is an antique. This is from the Boy Scouts. A real, authentic Boy Scout knife. Check it out. There it is. Yep, and I have no nails, so I use this. Ah, there we go. And there we are. Oh, okay. Jim. Now watch this. This is for ticks. Or for nose hairs. Look at that. And so let me see. Yep, that's all for fun. Let me try to think. Anything else? That's about it. Probably got a couple of, oh yeah, for to keep. Oh yeah, they're awesome. Let me see. Here's something that I do to keep the dentist away. Now, I don't have fantastic teeth, and like a lot of people, I'm getting older and, not as teeth, but for people who are homeless and who they want to stay away from dentists and stuff, there is something that you can work on. And it's my own little concoction. I put, let's see, oil of oregano, colloidal silver, and little peppermint oil. Oh, I love peppermint oil. Oh, especially peppermint oil. Really good for the digestion. Hey, Chris, how you doing? I'm doing good. God bless your friend. Let's see, what do I do? Now, I'm trying to think if there's something I'm missing. First I use a spoonful. This is how I keep the dentist away, even though I've got bad teeth. Like, I'm almost 60, so I got a broken molar in the back, and I got 2 broken molars here. I know, I think that I mean, it's a trade-off. When you got no teeth, the good part of it is you won't die of some tooth infection, and you ain't gonna need medical intervention if something goes wrong with the teeth. Um, Let me see. If thanks. What else? If but when you don't have teeth, then it's difficult to really enjoy food to the maximum capacity. But if you do have teeth and you're homeless, the last thing you want to worry about is going to the dentist. Heaven forbid that could come. It could happen, but here's a way that I use to ward it off. Number one, if I'm going to eat anything sugary, I eat it before my main course meal, because the regular food, it actually cleans the teeth of the sugar. That's one thing I do. Yeah, I'm thinking it might be good without teeth, but I just, see that got because I was untying knots with living outdoors, and this thing started to loosen up, and eventually it plumped out. Yeah, I understand, Chris. But here's what I do: I put a little water, and then I put silver, oil of oregano, which is an anti-infection, antiviral. Uh, And then I do this. First, I take baking soda and I put a spoonful of it in the mouth and I pull. Then I take some of this and then after I do that, I pull for about 10 minutes with coconut oil. I got teeth that are pretty messed up, but they're not all the way bad. And the reason is because this is one of the things that I've done. And I like a little sugar like other, but I will always eat the sugar in small portions, always before I eat the meal. Like if I want a piece of cake or something like that and want to indulge a little, then I'll eat that before I eat, let's say, some regular plate of food, that don't have sugar in it. And then I notice it like a sandwich, like bread is really actually, even though I don't think bread is good for the gut, it's actually good. It cleans the teeth. So on top of with combination between that technique and this, yeah. See, my teeth, good thing about them, that tooth is going to loosen up and flop out one of these days. One of these days, you'll see Noah Road with his tooth missing right here. But yeah, that's about my show and tell for the day. I'm sure, I really recommend, um, let me see, peppermint oil, Jim. What do you think of peppermint oil, Jim? It's really good for the colon, digestion. Only need 2 or 3 drops. I got all this stuff like 3 years ago. It's in my storage unit. Trying to think, is there anything else missing? Oh, how about this? Check this out. Yes, peppermint oil. Look at this, Jim. How's that? I put up in my sleeping bag. And then when I'm sitting around the woods, got my sleeping bag rolled up. It's just, look at that, man. I'm all, yeah. I think I got that for $2 or $3. What else do I got? Mm. Oh, this for bugs and for camouflage. A nice, how's that? Sitting in the woods like this. It's intense, huh? And I got gray hair. Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, I've got like, I think about 17 days or something left, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just going over some stuff and having a little fun, and yeah, I know, really. Well, I made it a long time without going to dentists, so I'm almost 60 years old, so I'm doing pretty good. I haven't been to a dentist since I was like 16, so I still have most of my teeth. I got a couple of teeth that are, that one got rocked. It pulled out. This one's broken out, and then I got a couple of broken molars, but that's it. The rest of them, no pain. How you doing? I don't know how to say the name. Why let it? I'm not sure. Sorry if I missaid your name. Thank you. Thank you for saying hi. Yeah, I'm just trying to psych myself up the road. I'm going to stay pretty much in the area. That's what I plan anyways. Pretty much within about a area. I'll probably spend about a month mostly to myself, just because I'm such a change. And I'm going to use what little resource I've left to invest in a storage unit, and more time in the storage. That's why I'm leaving the apartment, because I have so much resources to work with, and they're dwindling. So what I decided to do is, while I still have some resources, I want to invest in more time in the storage unit, and then I can stash away more, survival gear in case anything happens. I can get an extra year in the storage unit for what it costs for 1 month here. Your name is... Huh. I didn't know that. All right. What else do I have? I wonder if I... Gotta see my little place here. I put this scarf up over here. It's kind of cool, huh? And here's my cart that I showed you in one of my... What else? I'm trying to think, is there anything... got some weights. Well, I tell you, Jim, and Chris too. Thank you, Chris, for sticking, for keeping up with and staying in touch. I appreciate. Chris is a pretty good guy. He really is. He's a genuine, living soul. So if you ever see Jim in the comment section, he's a really good guy. He's always sticking by me. He's stuck it out with me for a couple of years. You're named after your dad, Jim Bowden. Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, say you, Jim and Chris can meet. What do you think? You two guys you can say hi to one another, eh? I care about the both of you, okay? Know that. And just to let you know, Jim, Chris is from Australia. Isn't that neat? He's the real McCoy. And what else do I have to show off? This is my mascot. That's Teddy. I don't know if any of you if you remember. Yeah. I tried to tell Chris could make maybe a quick video, like a little YouTube short, just to say hi. Yeah. That'd be neat to see what it's like around your neck of the woods, Chris. I mean, you're way out there in Australia. After this, I'm gonna have to stop drinking. I don't drink too often, but and I don't drink heavy. But when I'm homeless or when I'm doing the stealth camping, I never drink, Jim. Almost never, maybe once or twice a year. Because I got to have the sympathy of the cops if they ever stop me, you know what I'm saying? Batman or Superman? Which one do I like? I don't know, I'd probably rather be Superman. I mean, Batman, he's like strong, but everything is like the utility belt and he's human. Superman, it's like he's got all these special powers that are like natural. He doesn't need a utility belt. Anyways, how you doing? Welcome to the welcome to the chat. Is it Ryan? Yeah, Ryan. How you doing, man? Yeah, exactly. I mean, that like requires outside forces to be able to deal with things. I mean, Superman. I mean, Batman can do some muscle ups, and he can run and he can jump, but he's not too far beyond the human aspects of things. When Superman, he goes way beyond. That's what I want. I want way beyond. Yeah, how you doing, Brian? Brian, hey, how you doing, man? I haven't met you yet, but God, welcome. I'm just drinking a beer and chilling and talking camping gear. I went through and showed most of it off. Other than that, I don't know. Sitting here, it's probably a boring video. It's just a little. What do we call that? I don't know. When they video chat or something like that. Jim, can you go live one of these days? Or Chris? Hey, how are you doing? I don't have the best eyes anymore. Sorry. Not boring. Thank you, Jim. I needed to hear that. I needed the reassurance. One of these days I gotta pull out my old guitar. I actually busk. Yeah, I used to busk, but I was always a three-chord wonder. I used to sing. I used to busk. I lost my voice for some reason as good as I used to. You still say hi to Melody, Jim? Well, I'll tell you what, Jim. Chris, you know how to work up the courage. Just point the camera out and just give a little panoramic view of and you could say a very quick hello, or you could just say I'm giving a silent walkthrough, and I'm wishing everybody a happy day. You see what I'm saying? You could say something like that, or you could say nothing at all. Actually, to my playlist and go to my walkthroughs, I got some silent walkthroughs. I didn't say a thing. They're some of my favorite videos. Yeah, yeah. Melody's got a good heart. She really. It'd be nice to meet y'all. Wouldn't it be nice if we could all meet? Maybe about 7 or 10 of us or something like that. Meet somewhere in the middle of the country and rent. Like if one of us won the lottery, we could send invitations and we could all sit around for a whole week or two, in some kind of a beautiful campground. Middle of the country, where's that? The Platte River, somewhere around the Platte River, Nebraska, or something like that. And we could rent cabins. How's that sound? That'd be good. Yeah, yeah. Not sure what that would be good, but what you meant by that, Chris. But I think it'd be cool if we could all meet up. I dream about it. I doubt if it'll ever happen, but it's kind of cool to think about those sorts of things. What would I do if I had I don't know, unlimited supply of money, like Batman's utility belt, but of money? Would I? Who would I invite? Where would I go? What would we do when we hung out? Yeah, I'll tell you, Jim. I would have a vegan week in your honor. And I would have the best vegan food. I would have cabins for all of us, bunch of people, that would be so fun. That's what I'm saying. I would have a vegan week, for sure. I would enjoy that, Jim. Believe me, I would. Vegan is tough. Do you struggle not to dip into the vegetarian a little bit once in a while, or is it really easy for you to totally stay the course with vegan? Do you get tempted with ice cream or maybe a little yogurt or something like that? Is it really hard not to dip into the animal products a tad? Easy when I think of the animal. Yeah, You know, the thing that keeps me going, veganism, or it's really hard for me to stay vegan all the time, but I try. But what I do is I say I don't want something to die or to suffer, so that I can go delicious. You know what I'm saying? Oh, dairy-free yogurt. I sure would love to try that. Sometimes I wonder if I'll get out that way, Jim, and get in touch with you. You know, my heart goes out to you, Jim. I really do care about you. I really do. How long have you been vegan? I mean, I'm sure there was a time when you were like everybody. You eat stuff. You had, you know, fast food or whatnot. I was wondering, like, how long have you been really strict about this thing? Just waiting. I think there's a delay. Wow, there's only two people. Lonely us. Yeah, that dairy-free yogurt sounds really good. Do you ever drink a beer once in a while, Jim? I know that Chris, you said you don't drink beer anymore. Hmm. Just wondering. Everybody, any? Okay. Yeah, you told me that 2 years ago. I don't drink heavy, but I do drink light, like 3 or 4 beers, maybe five. Just pushing it, and I would say, you know, 2 weeks between. And when I go off on the stuffing, I almost never drink ever. That's why I drink now. Is because I'm I'm a little bit wound up. I'm a little scared. You know, I'm now gonna be out there stealth camping without a safety net outside of my storage unit, which I got that. But no more apartments, you know, and technically it's illegal. You know, if any of you are inclined to do so and you got a little time to kill, I recommend going to my playlist and going to my best of Noah Road camping favorites. How you doing, Charles Smith? It's going pretty well. I was showing off a lot of my camping gear, and now I'm just having a chat with a couple of friends that's been keeping in touch with me. Charles Smith. I don't know if you're this. Are you the one from St. Mary's by chance? Oh, cool. Great, great. I'm glad to see you again. Yeah, I'm getting ready to head out and leave my apartment. I was just showing off my camping gear. I was showing off that I really lucked out with the a tent. I actually got two tents for $5, exact identical tents, and they're like these small. They seem silly, but they're really great. It's a Winnie the Pooh tent. Okay, let me see. It looks silly, but look at this thing. It is badass. Look at that thing. Totally cool. And I got a second one in my storage unit in case anything happened to this one. And this is a backpack that I got for $5. Look at that thing. Tough canvas. Looks like this is seatbelt material or something, like these straps on it and stuff. It's really great. I was going through, like a quick hobo stove that I make. Like you put fuel in here, and then you put this up here, and voila, boil water instantly. See how that works? You put Coleman fuel in there, or else rubbing alcohol, like really high, alcohol content rubbing alcohol, and it'll do good, and it'll work. It's dirty and it's dangerous, it sucks, but it's hey, yeah, I know, it's been good. Oh, and since you're Charles Smith, yeah, say hi to everybody. Jim, Charles Smith is a pretty good guy. He was on one of my other lives, and he seemed like a pretty good guy. Just to let you know, introduce each other, it's cool. And just since Charles Smith hasn't seen what I was showing off, I got this for $6 from Goodwill in Clearfield. Look at that. And it's really oversized, so in the wintertime I can wear some jackets underneath it. It does. It's pretty warm. It's kind of like a thin sleeping bag. And the cool thing, if you're ever looking out for one of those trench coats, make sure you get one with snaps on it. Because every trench coat you ever find, the zipper is going to break on you. So there's really, if the zipper don't break, you're just incredibly lucky. Because when you got a trench coat that hangs down below you, and you're walking around and you're trying to zip that thing up, it really breaks. So what you want is snaps. Oh, you can. I wonder why you feel alive. Yeah, the big jacket, because I could put it over other jackets. I mean, that jacket in and of itself wouldn't be good in the deep freeze, but over another jacket and layers and stuff, scarf and whatnot, it'll keep old Noah Road alive. Really? How many subs do you need that go live? Because I've seen some pretty low, I don't know, some pretty low numbers going live. Yeah, yeah. Well, shoot, Jim, when are you gonna say hi again? And 100? Oh gosh, I think you got 100 now, don't you? No, because I only got, no, not 1,000, because I got only 665 now. For a while, I had 666 subscribers. That was kind of funny. I took a screenshot of it because it. Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, Jim. You can. I think live is available to people. Yeah, it was. It was funny for about, I'd say, 3 weeks. It was running at 666. I'm like, well, that's kind of funny. I had to take a screenshot of it just for the kicks. Look at that. What does this say? Jim Angel 666 in Roman numerals. Yeah, try it. Just go hit the plus button, and then it should have a live option. No, no. It just happened to be the number of people that was subscribed. It was. Now it went up to 668, then it went down to 667, then back to 666. Now it's 665. I personally don't buy the Book of Revelations thing. Like I say, I dig on the Hebrew scriptures and stuff. I really don't accept the New Testament. Well, I don't. The New Testament, he parted ways several years ago. I love the Hebrew scriptures. I like the metaphor, and I definitely believe there is some ancient Hebrew mythology in it, which is cool. But and I believe that there's, the metaphor is, it's got something real. It's being conveyed, and something spiritual is being conveyed. But I don't necessarily believe in all the numbers or some of the events as like being literal history. I think that it's conveying something spiritual in what appears to be a straight ahead read. And I think there is some historical stuff. And I definitely think for some weird reason, there's something going on with the Jewish people in the world. Like there really got something very interesting going on between them and whatever the God of this universe or Matrix is. Something's going on there. I'd actually like to get into talking about that. I think there's a distinguishing feature between the people that go by the name Jews and the non-Jews. And I think there's Jews that follow the Torah, and I think they're good people. And then I think there's Jews that go off the Torah, and they can become pretty wicked people. You know. And I think for some reason it's the Jews, the Jesuits are more like from the nations. The Jesuits would be Catholicism, and Judaism is opposed to Catholicism. I would say it's more like a globalist conspiracy, and I think they might be one facet of it. I consider the Catholic Church to be Esau or Edom, and I think that the Torah observant Jewish people are Jacob. So you got Esau or Edom, which says that the covenant has been broken by the Jews and God cast them away, cast them out of his sight, and he has replaced them with the church, the Catholic Church or the Jesuits, and so on and so forth. The higher ranking authorities of the Catholic Church, they believe, has replaced the old covenant that was originally made with the Jews. But in my opinion, it's because Esau pretends he's the twin. A lot of this is metaphor. I'm not saying that I believe this is 100% literal. I think there's literal grounds in history for sure. It's anchored in history. But there's a metaphor going on that Esau is always trying to pretend to be Jacob because he's a twin. So he sounds like Jacob, looks like Jacob. A lot of people accept him, but really it's the Torah observant Jewish people that are the ones that have the thing going on between God of the Bible and the covenant. I think the covenant is specific to them and only to them. And I don't believe that you need a covenant in order to have the God of this world or the God of the Most High God um, um, bless you and keep you and make his face shine upon you. I think God judges you based according to your ways if you're a non-Jew. If you're a Jew, you got a special covenant, and if you're a non-Jew, you don't have the special covenant, but you can be blessed through a repentance and grace-based relationship with your Creator, and it's all based on your ways and what you do and so forth. And that's how I see, you know, that's how I see my relationship with the Creator of the universe. I mean, it gets interesting, it gets deep. I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a goyim according to like Orthodox Judaism or anything. You think of it as the Jewish people had a specific covenant to act on behalf of the goyim, and they kind of like the equivalent Jerusalem and the throne of David. Kind of see it as the state like the Capitol building. And then the rest of the state, they live happy lives and they contribute and they manage the rest of the state. You know, that's really all that's going on. And as far as I'm concerned, Christianity reads way too much into it, and I don't see the Christian what Christians use goyim. No, no, it's not cattle. It just means nations. In fact, Jews are called who are living in the nations are called goyim too. So no, that's not true, James. That's what the Catholic Church has taught you. It's just not true. I mean, if there is somebody that is there's like for instance, you got Karl Marx certainly was a Jew, and Engels, so they came up with some pretty radical ideology, which would be harmful to the goy, if you will. But the Jewish people they don't wish any harm upon the goy. That the goy would just accept the seven universal commands, pardon, that are binding on all humanity. Well, in some ways you're religious, Jim, because you believe in a creator and you. No, that's not true, Jim. That's not true. Not in my ideology at all. They killed who? The Jews? Well, the Jesuits are one thing, and the Jesuits are not the Jews. Huh. No, I'm quite a fan of the Orthodox Jewish people. I really, really love the Orthodox Jewish people. I'm no fan of the Jesuits. I'm no fan of the Catholic Church. There's clearly a difference between the two. I don't know what you mean by that. Yeah, there has to be. You got to recognize the difference between Torah observant Jewish people. They're just Torah observant, and then you got these secret society groups, which are obviously different. They're not compatible. I mean, there are the two groups are Jesuits or secret society groups are not compatible with Torah observant Jews, is what I'm saying, Jim. It's just absolutely not. All right, I like that, Jim. Now you're starting. Yeah, that's what I wanted to make clear. I know that there are Jewish people that have gone, in a globalist direction. There's no doubt about it, Jim. But Torah observant Jews are absolutely not those people, and I really want you to understand that. Torah observant Jewish people mean no harm to the non Jews. They really don't. But Jesuits are kind of a secret society sect that I think is attached to globalism. It's true. Um, but I'm not educated about it. There's secret society stuff. You can only speculate to some extent. Yeah, probably. There's definitely some Jews that are involved in Illuminati. There's no doubt about it. But you can't say that Torah observant Jews would be, you know, involved in that because they wouldn't be Torah observant. There's definitely some things that the Jews do that probably I could understand people would find strange. Not everything is commanded in the written Torah that they do, but they are a distinct nation and they're actually they're the only national ethnicity that has a fully functional system, a fully functional court system that has survived from the ancient times of the Bronze Age. There just isn't anything there. On an international level, no. There's nothing else. Try to remember, listen to my words, okay? I'm telling you, I can calm all this stuff down. It's good sense and critical thinking can calm this stuff down. Yeah, I know, but something created us, Jim, not us. We have a part of what created us inside of us. But we did not create us. We did not create the sun. Something created us. Something created the sun. And it's nothing that you could see. Well, the judges who are capable of judging between right and wrong according to Torah standards are called B'nai Elohim. Nature can't create nature. Something had to create the genetic material that became nature. That wouldn't I am greater than dirt. I'm even greater than the stars. No, nature can't create nature. Something created nature. Trees were created. Nature was created. That's why I don't worship trees or worship stars and suns and astrology signs. I only acknowledge that we have a creator that we can only catch a glimpse of in hindsight. No, we are different from the trees. We are superior than the trees. We have a superiority, but we are supposed to manage the trees as superior creatures, and we can be evil and hurt the trees. And that's not good. But we can use the trees, and the trees can help us, and everything can be wonderful. What am I wrong on? I never said that our Creator is a man. I don't believe or subscribe in Christianity. Yes, actually, we are, Jim. We are managers of the trees. We have a duty to protect the trees. The trees, you know, since we have a right to live here, we have to protect the trees. We have to protect the animals. Yeah, but what created the nature? No, that's people's choices, Jim. People's who have gone down the wrong road have chose to hurt the trees and hurt nature and do all this bad stuff. But we have the ability. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. Nature was created. It has to be created. There has to be something superior than what we see in the physical reality that created the physical reality. It's a spiritual energy. Ego, we are ego, you are ego. Ego is only a sense of identity, and it's very thin because before I existed, there was no ego of me. And when I die, the ego is kind of annihilated in a way. So I can't be ego, I mean, yeah, sure, we are in a sense. Yeah, you could say that. I mean, there's no way to prove that chemicals didn't interact or whatnot, but chemicals interacting and then starting from simple to and gradually becoming more and more complex, it you gotta say what started that. What made the genetic material available. To go from simple to more complex. Male and female is just part of creation, but what I know, but nobody can go beyond what created the spark of life and everything. I mean, Jim, what I'm saying, it resonates. You can't say it's us and we're God. We Our destiny is in our hands, but we did not create the the complexity of nature itself, in my opinion. Something is going on there. And the fact that that's real points to something more than just trees and us and ego. There's something else beyond it. We are divine beings, we have a divine spark, but we are not needed by the divine being. The divine being can get along just fine without us. Wind, trees, but what created that? I mean, these are, gosh, what are they? They're genetic material and so forth. But there's something beyond or above or transcends. This always was aspect of nature. There's just something beyond it. You might as well just be an atheist, Jim. I mean, if that's all it is wind and rain and ego, and we're all just, then we're done. We're annihilated at death. What's the purpose of giving a shit about life or animals or trees? What's the purpose of it all? Well, sure, you could call God manifests in different names and different forms. It all depends on what he's going to reveal. Or he, she, we are the she, and Hashem would be more of the masculine aspect. So there is no, Jim. I'm not. I am absolutely right on target with my faith and my beliefs. And I love you, and I don't want you to be all upset with me over this. I want you to understand that we're probably more in agreement than what you think. It's just that you haven't heard it spoken of in this way, and it's like a red flag to you because too many people with religion has been, let's say, Christian. You're used to a Christianized message of God, and I don't have a Christianized message of God. Listen, Jim, if we are just trees and ego and wind, then we have no existence beyond the grave. What else do we have? Don't you think there's something more? God is a tree, but how can God be a tree if I'm greater than a tree? Nature is God, but I'm nature. So how is this thing anything divine if it's just a bunch of molecules and a bunch of ego and chemistry kind of, starting simple and gradually becoming more complex, and ultimately at the end of our life we are, annihilated. What's the purpose of it all? Well, I don't know about that. I don't know. I just don't understand that God is a tree, even though there could be an amazing or a great tree, but God is a tree. I don't understand how God can be something that's created, like a tree, or conscious, or ego, or wind, or nature. You know what I'm saying? These are manifestations of God's presence. But there's something in the Bible. Well, I'm very familiar with the Bible, and I've never heard that the God is a tree. But there was a command that man should not eat of a certain tree, sure. And it's not good that man should cut trees down, and hurt, the earth, and man has done a lousy job of being a manager, but there will be a reckoning, okay? Garden of the Serpent, okay, I understand that, but there was a command of something that created the tree. Not that the tree commanded, don't eat me, it was God that commanded, don't eat of this tree that I created. You see what I'm saying? Or the tree of life would be something that he could eat of eventually, that he is something that he created. And of course, more than likely, that the story of the Garden of Eden is more metaphor. It's got some truth that's probably historical, but it's just a kernel of historical truth. Hey, what's up? I don't know, Jim. Look, remember, I love you very much, Jim. But to say that life and ego and trees and wind and nature is all the totality of what God is something I just can't vibe with. It's like I respect you and love you very much, and I'll always be careful with you, but but I just don't see that as very reasonable, because if yes, I believe that the ego, and that I believe the people that did destroy the garden, if you will, but I think that the Garden of Eden is more metaphor. It could be something going on in here. It could have a kernel of truth in the beginning. Hmm. I don't know, Jim. Look, human beings have a choice to go in, and we're binary beings, and we have free reign to operate as we will, on the planet. And just because we have some kind of authority over nature to work with it, we're supposed to learn how to be good managers of it and so forth. Sure, I believe that, yes. But the trees are not God, Jim. Something created trees, I think perhaps even Adam, in the Kabbalah it says that Adam was a mile high or more miles high. And he could blow the clouds from one end to the other of the universe and see from one end to the other, so yeah, I totally agree, Jim. I think that age will return again. I definitely have hope for that. But if we are nature, or like if nature itself, and we are just God, and this is it, it's just kind of hidden beneath the surface of what appears to be nature. and that's as good as it's going to get. There isn't anything greater than that created it. Well, I don't know if those days will ever come back again. You know, I think that something is kind of micromanaging things, and I think it's greater than meets the eye, and it's definitely greater than ego and trees and nature and wind and so forth. There's something beyond it. Yeah, but then you die at the end of it. You know, if that's all it is, then we die, and our sense of self is annihilated. Uh, Jim, you, I don't think you should walk around with your dukes up too much because you get too impassioned, so impassioned that I don't know. You might not find peace because the world is going to have plenty of people that disagree or have a different view. And I care about you. I love you a lot. I do. But I just can't accept, nature is it. And I understand the evolution process is something interesting if you want to go that route. And it looks and appears as evolution is something that starts simple and gradually becomes more complex. And as it becomes more complex, it just builds on, the previous complexity and it gets more complex. And eventually we got this amazing world. And all we have to do is have this amazing energetic shift in our head. And we could have the big trees, and we could have the fruit, and everybody can get along. But I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. I think that yes, I think that we have the power to manage and we can micromanage it. We can become, I think we're designed to be the stewards. But I think human beings as a species has gone so far corrupt that the chances of us, enough of us, waking up um, and overthrowing a corrupt globalistic kind of government takeover is pretty slim. So I have hopes in something much more beyond. And I don't subscribe to Christianity. I don't. I don't believe that people need to believe in a one specific thing. I think that everybody's just kind of grasping and hoping, and I don't believe that the Creator is going to hold somebody responsible for not believing a gospel story, which has got internal conflict and corruption and all sorts of doubtfulness in it. I believe that there are a number of laws that are binding on humanity, and I believe that people are judged by a creator that goes beyond nature according to our ways. And I believe that someday there will be a final conflict between evil and good, and the good will finally win out. And I think it'll be happen when it's time, and it'll happen in Creator's time when the Creator puts the stamp of approval on it. And that's not Christianity. I don't mean Christianity. um, Hey, God bless you, Melody and all that. Um, exactly, yeah. I'm trying to express my ideas and being very tolerant and very cautious and careful, with other people. But let me see. At least I think I am. I mean, um, where am I going to? I'm probably going to start out. Yeah, love. Yeah, God bless. I don't mean to offend anybody. It just got a little heated, and I certainly didn't mean it that way. I mean, my idea has got to be heard too. I can't have my idea, stamped out, and I can't be despised because I believe in something greater than nature. I believe nature is created by something greater than nature. That's all. I don't mean to offend anybody. I don't subscribe to Christianity, and I can understand why people have, they got, complexities going on inside of them that they're dealing with that isn't very pleasant because of, Christianity. Yeah. I very much care about Jim. I really truly do. I think he might have left. I think he's really just misunderstanding a lot of what I'm saying. Really, in reality, I just can't agree that nature, trees, wind, and ego or some kind of specific tree of life is God. I think there's something that beyond it that created it, and he seemed to have taken a wrong turn or an offense to it, and I honestly didn't mean to do it that. I care about him very much. It's very sad if he doesn't ever. Gosh, how somebody live that to be offended that easy? I'm being very generous here. Yeah, yeah. No matter what Jim does, he's got an unconditional love from my heart. He really does. I mean, I hope he doesn't hate me. Gosh, I notice he's not on, so I never heard of that word laggery. Yeah, I'm being very careful. I think I'm being very careful with him. I really do. I just, what can I say? It's hard for me to believe that God is trees and wind and ego and so forth and nature. I think there's just something beyond that, and that's why I don't like bow down to the sun and say the sun created me or nature created me. And if that's the case, well then why not go with anything? Why be upset over anything? Because if nature just created you and you're the sum denominator of nature's creation, you're annihilated at death, and there's no survival of your ego after the death of the chemistry going on in your brain. Your brain shuts down, the chemistry ends, and that's it for you. So I just have to, and hope certainly, to believe in something beyond. I'm very cerebral. If you have noticed, if you take notice and you listen carefully to what I say, I'm very considerate of others, and I'm very extremely cerebral. I've done a lot of personal study. I've been a student of myself, and I understand and accept that I have been a student of my personal biases as well. And I try to work within the biases of others to some extent. You know, to a point, you got to have a disagreement. What are you going to do? I think I'm being reasonable here. I don't think subjects should also just constantly be avoided. I think religion's totally cool. Yeah, I get it. Working on that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm working on this sort of stuff. I would love to work with, Jim's ideology. I really did. In a way, nature is all part of it all. And, I'm part of nature. But I just know that the complexity of it's like if there's any hope for a purpose and a reason and a hope for survival of the ego, there's got to be more than just nature, or else we're not gods at all. We're just nature, and we're just chemistry that's going on, being fired off in a brain. It started out very simple and gradually became more and more complex in its evolution. And then when you die, that's it. Next generation might move on from you, but you're nothing but a leaf on a tree in free fall, and that's it. I don't know. I have to see things as more. Oh, absolutely. I totally see the importance of nature. But what's more important is let me try to think, our opportunity to be um, what's the word I'm looking for? The opportunity to be the managers or whatever of nature, because a tree can't, I mean, it lives, but to manage and feed the world with all of these crops and all of the nature and all this stuff, that requires us. So we're greater than the nature because the tree isn't going to like make rubber and roads and a society that can actually feed other people that are experiencing this amazing gift of life. So it's in harmony with what Jim is saying way more than he I'm just surprised that he just left the conversation like that. I'm very surprised. That's spiritual infancy, and I hate to say it, but it really is. But I love him. I'll always love him, and I think he'll probably hate me for the rest of my life because of something that I said. Because that I think that human beings, he's looking at the bad that human beings and focusing on that rather than what we could be. It's like that's the key. God bless whatever God is, whatever the universe is, whatever the nature of creation is. Wow, somebody's got a loud engine out there. But, anyways, I'll always love Jim, and I feel very bad that he left, the conversation the way he did. I did not mean it to go that way. I really wanted to work with him as much as I could. I tried so hard. And if you go back over the conversation, you'll see. I'm sure I feel confident that I tried. I really did. God bless him, whatever that means to him. Anyways, Melody, I got some cool stuff. Look at this. I got this for $5, and I got two of these exact Winnie the Pooh tents. And look at the color. And they're small and compact. Man, I tell you, I could do some good stealth camping in here. And I got some cool stuff. I got a cool hobo stove. Look at that. You fill this middle one with some fuel, whether it's Coleman fuel or what else? Alcohol of some kind. And then you put it on the two cans. And voila, you got an instant stove. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm showing off some of my old equipment. Look at this old. That there is a from Case, the Case Knife Company here in Pennsylvania. I'm having a couple of beers tonight too. Let me see, because I don't drink very much when I'm on the road. I sometimes go many months without a beer. Also, you got to check this out, Melody. This is great. $5 at Goodwill. Look at how look at how low it goes, all the way down to the feet. This thing is amazing. It's 4x, 4x. So I can put it over other clothes that are layered underneath it. So if I ever get caught out in the winter, at least I got this, and I could roll this up into my sleeping bag. And look at this, $5 in Goodwill. Look at this beautiful sleeping, this backpack. Beautiful. And look at this cool like tarp. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. So I'm ready. I got some cool things I was showing off. Look at this. This is a Boy Scout knife. Cool, huh? A pair of scissors that are I had for a long time. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do okay. And cool. Yeah, I'm really sorry about Jim. I am. What am I supposed to do? I can't agree with him on everything. It's sad. I really care about him. I do it definitely. I so care about him. Huh. I'm really sorry about that. He left. Yeah, he's not on here anymore. He's so mad at me because I didn't say that God was nature and us. It's like there's got to be something more, and it's just a small, very small disagreement. If you really think about it, what I'm saying makes some sense. I'm not coming against him or nothing. I didn't talk about eating meat or anything. I just talking about the concept of God. I think there's something a little more going on than nature and chemicals and trees and ego, and wind and whatever. Let me see the last message. Um, oh wow, cool man. Yeah, cool. Thank you very much, Charles Smith. Charles Smith, say hi to Melody. She's really cool. And Melody, say hi to Charles Smith, who's, he lives in a town not too far from here. And he has spoken with me on live videos another time, a previous time. Yeah, and he's been very kind and so forth. And he just he kind of reached out in Olive Branch, as they call it, and said that if I was ever in his neck of the woods, that if I got in touch with him, he'd be able to kind of like come around and maybe drop off some supplies for me. That's pretty cool. That's obviously really great. Thank you very much, Charles Smith. Well, Melody and Charles Smith and anybody else who might be, we got 7 people watching. Five, yeah. I don't know. I tell you, everybody, I really genuinely mean the best, but we all got our own theological bias and theological frame of reference. As long as it's not too cutting against somebody, yeah, I think it should be cool. And I should probably let everybody go so this doesn't go on and on. This is an hour and a half video. And I had a lot of fun, and I feel very sorry about, I don't know, how it turned out with Jim. God bless him. I love him. And I'll always care about him for the rest of my life. I honestly will. I mean, if he never speaks to me again over a simple, my goodness, disagreement, I promise you, I even if it's 10 years from now, I'll say I hope Jim is okay and God bless him anyway. You know what I mean? He's one of those people that are rare to where they got my unconditional love and concern for them. Okay, I want everybody to know that. Anybody who might be listening. Oh, hi, Matthew. Matthew is a very, very kind person. I thank you very much. Oh, and yeah, yeah, and thank you very much, Chris. You hung in there, and I guess you listened to this big conversation. It got a little hairy there for a minute with our friend Jim. I'll always remember him. And everybody, this is Matthew. He says hi to me quite frequently, just to let everybody know. All right. I guess I'm probably. And by the way, Matthew, I went through. I had a bunch of what did it? I showed off my camping gear and things like that. Some fun stuff. There's a case knife. You might like that. Look at how shiny and pretty this is. This is from Bradford, Pennsylvania. And all right. Bless your heart, Matthew. Thanks for saying hi, and you. I know your heart's in the right place. I know it is. I genuinely know it is. Okay, I just want to tell you that. Okay. Yeah, I got that for myself for a birthday present, I think in 2010. I Bradford's an interesting town. I would love to do a walk through of Bradford. It's got Zippo lighters. It's got the oldest, yes, listen to this, the oldest fully functional um, oil refinement factory, I guess it's called, in the world. And you got the oldest oil well here in Pennsylvania, the Titusville. They call it the Drake Well. Yeah. Another cool thing they got is if you like the TV show gosh, what is it called? Tales from the Dark Side. You remember the beginning where they showed that covered bridge? That there is called the Turner's Covered Bridge, and it's down by I don't know. It's here in Pennsylvania. I might actually want to go down there one of these days. That would be fun. All right, y'all. I'm gonna let you go because this is getting to be pretty long, and I gotta go pee and all that stuff. And God bless y'all. Thank you, Matthew. Pardon me for squinting. I don't have eyes as well as they used to be. I I think I look much younger than I am. I'm glad to say. I notice sometimes women even look at me a second time every now and then. All righty. God bless you. Thank you. And I had a good time showing off my equipment. And look at that backpack, eh, Matt? Pretty cool. Yeah. All right, y'all. I'm gonna let you go now and get on with whatever. Thank you all for chiming in. And Jim, I love you. If you ever see, I don't mean any problems with that. I always love you, Jim. You always have a place in my heart. I'll always keep Jim in my prayerful thoughts. I think a lot of it's just a misunderstanding. All right. And I'll be keeping you in my prayerful thoughts too, Matthew and Melody and Chris and Charles, all y'all. Thank you very much. And anybody else who might be watching who just hasn't chimed in. Thank you and bless you all. All right? I'm going to let you go now. Thank you and bye bye.